Hi guys, it's Michelle with Deceptionbytes, and I am back for the second video of today. I'm going to be going into some Q-related news. There was far too much to be able to cover in the first video. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot more than I could even cover in two videos. So just lots of things happening. So first thing we're going to look at is this, and I am on a person's YouTube channel. His name is William Mount, and I'm not sure if he always posts videos like this, but I may go out and look further into this person because I do think that this particular video is fascinating. Now, it's about Julian Assange, and it's a message, a cryptic message that he posted, and it's being decoded. So I don't know what to think about this, and I would be really interested to know what you guys think about it.
Good morning. It's the 13th of January 2018, and yesterday or this morning, Julian Assange posted a very cryptic encoded message. Here's the cryptic encoded message. He also included a copy of a chess game to mean that it's almost checkmate. You can find the copy of the checkmate on Sorce's new article. But he coded a specific code here. What does it mean? This is where that code led to on YouTube. And he walks into an old theater and focuses on that picture there. An old theater with candlelight. And what we see is we see a picture now. Here's the gal with the headband. And you go 3 up and there's nobody standing there, right? But when they focus in on it, again, here's the gal with the headband, and here's a man standing there. So that man was superimposed. That apparently is a man of interest. President Xi Jinping, Putin, and President Trump. But there's an almost identical film out there that shows this. It shows a jet being used as a weapon to attack something inside of a city, like the White House. So you can put 2 and 2 together. Julian Assange says it's the end game. This man is of interest. Very interesting message. And that they're using jets as weapons of mass destruction. In other words, it appears that the president has to be careful about another jet flying into the White House and organized by that man there. It's obvious that facial recognition programs can be used for this, and it's also obvious that based on this here this code here is very similar to this code here. I'll do that again because if you're in the intelligence community, you'll probably be able to get tail numbers off of this. You're going to have to work on that very hard. FB4E5686. FB4E5686, very similar. Look for tail numbers similar to that. And again, Julian Assange just put out that message. He's only done 3 tweets, I believe. And this is his latest warning the president. Could be President Xi Jinping, could be President Putin, and could be President Trump, of a coming attack and a threat to his life. I believe it's against Trump, but you know, you guys in the Secret Service can figure that out. You guys in the SVR for President Putin can figure that out. God bless to each and every one of you. Thank you. My job is to bring you a message. This is the message. Thank you and good night.
So there you have it. I'm not sure what to think about it. It's interesting, and I guess time will tell. But if any of you have anything else to add about that or any thoughts about it, I would be really, really interested to know. So I'm going to go on. Now, this is something else that I found that I thought was really interesting. I found it on Twitter, and it's I'm not sure how to give credit for the video because there's nothing there's nothing really there that I can credit, but I can anyway. Let's go out and take a look at this. So it's on the website of Cali Conservative. Now, just 1 second here. It's very, very well done. Okay.
What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt? Let me ask you this. What about the fact they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any problem? I think they do.
So this one came in a day before the election. Hey, blankhead, I'll find you and put a bullet in your fat, blanking mouth. So this is a tweet I received. Has a picture of a noose on it.
His mailbox packed with demands coming from around the country. 2,000 just this week, he said, all calling on him not to vote for Donald Trump.
Manuel became an overnight sensation on social media, but not everyone was a fan.
And then the audacity of adults to give death threats. Pretty crazy, right?
You've had death threats?
Absolutely.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Kill your president! Kill your president! Kill your president! Kill your president! Kill your president!
But I like that you're all a part of it. When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
We begin tonight with federal authorities now revealing what they say was a plot to kill Donald Trump.
You said you know this area well, and they have been there. You see the chopper right there coming in to rescue at the end of that situation. We're told that there were 50 gunshots, Brad, that happened over a period of...
Superstar Jason Aldean on the stage in front of the outdoor crowd of more than 22,000 people. And then the sound of...
Multiple people have been shot at a church in Sutherland Springs, Texas.
A Fox News alert, the constable in Wilson County telling Fox News that they are now pulling bodies out of a church after responding to an active shooter situation in Sutherland Springs, Texas.
Anyone who endorses violence, hatred, or oppression is not welcome in our country and never ever will be.
So, I think that that's very well done, and it just kind of put things into perspective, because you know that the left is claiming that you know, the right, people on the right are violent and hateful, and yeah. Anyway, so now there's this is interesting too. Well, there's a lot of stuff that's interesting, but this was on InfoWars, and I don't know, I don't always trust Alex Jones. I think that sometimes that he is controlled opposition. I don't know. But he does have some very, very good articles, and it's interesting. He says, remember CIA's heart attack gun? CNN predicts Trump will die from heart attack. Is MSM conditioning the public for Trump's heart attack? You know, it's funny because I thought it was very, very odd that they were talking about Trump having a heart attack. I just thought it was odd. Like, I thought, where is this coming from? He's just had a checkup where everything was A-okay. And of course, that doesn't stop them from talking about, you know, that he's overweight and this and that, and making a big deal out of things that really aren't a big deal. But I thought it was interesting. Like, why are they talking about heart attack? And, you know, we do know that the CIA does have a heart attack gun. There is such a thing. CNN keeps predicting Trump will die of a heart attack, which brings to mind the CIA poison dart gun that can trigger one. Revealed by the Church Committee in 1975, the heart attack gun is a modified 1911 that can shoot a dart with a deadly poison that's nearly undetectable, which is perfect for political assassinations. The poison was frozen into some sort of dart, and then it was shot at very high speeds into the person, said CIA whistleblower. Sorry, hang on. Said CIA whistleblower Mary Embry, when it reached the person, it would melt inside them and there would be a tiny red dot on their body, which was hard to detect. There wouldn't be a needle or anything like that left in the person. Then CIA Director William Colby confirmed the gun could fire a special dart which potentially would be able to enter the target without perception, adding that an autopsy would fail to detect the dart's poison. Of course, the heart attack gun is 40-year-old technology, so it's theoretically possible to now deliver heart attack-inducing toxins to someone without needing a dart. But for Trump to suddenly die of a heart attack from natural causes, the public must be conditioned to believe he was at risk for one. Conveniently enough, CNN now has this weird obsession with Trump's risk of a heart attack. Now, why would they be so concerned? I mean, they want him gone anyway, right? So it doesn't make sense that they'd be concerned that he would have a heart attack. I mean, you would think that they would, want that to happen. But it's interesting. So, according to the American Mirror, because of Trump's calcium score, CNN predicted the president will have a heart attack or heart disease in 3 to 5 years. But CNN medical analyst Sanjay Gupta was more aggressive. So the president has heart disease, he declared. Yesterday, CNN host Brian Stelter didn't accept Dr. Ronnie Jackson's finding, Trump's examiner, either. Why is a network making an armchair diagnosis that Trump suffers from heart disease despite his recent physical indicating excellent health? And that is a very, very good question. They're not accepting that. Basically, they question the doctor saying, well, how can you account for his good health considering he eats, hamburgers and drinks Diet Coke? And the doctor said, well, good genetics. So, I mean, I just don't understand why they're questioning that. And is there nothing else to talk about? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they could talk about some of Trump's achievements in the year that he's been in office. Maybe they could talk about that. But I guess that's more fun to just make up something. So let's go back and see what else we can dig up here. All sorts of stuff. Let me see here. Before I get into that, I think I'm going to do this. They're saying it was a meteor over Michigan, that struck Michigan, and, it lit up. I mean, people in even different states saw it. I've seen YouTube videos, and I didn't know one way or another. I don't know, but there are some that are saying that it was not a meteor. And, of course, I had to check that out. So, they're saying it is a mysterious beam weapon that struck Michigan, and that the feds claimed meteor. Nothing surprises me, nothing. So it's completely plausible. Washington Township, Michigan, what looks like some sort of air or space-based beam weapon was captured on film emitting down from the sky Tuesday night, causing a massive explosion. Various press agencies like the Washington Post and government agencies like the Department of Homeland Security, the USGS, and NASA chalked off the event as a meteor strike. However, the pictures tell a different story. The photos were captured by Kurt Norris. Take a look for yourself. Does this look like a meteor to you? Okay, no, that does not look like a meteor to me, because I've seen a meteor when I lived in North Carolina. I was on my way home very late at night, and I remember seeing something entering the Earth's atmosphere, and I looked up, and it was this bright thing, and it left a trail, which disappeared behind it. It was very odd, but then it just burnt up and it was gone. There was no boom or, it didn't land anywhere that I'm aware of. So that does not look anything like what I saw, that looks like something's a strike to me. You guys can weigh in on that. But that looks suspicious. Residents came outside to look at all of the commotion. Yeah, I would too. Here's a screenshot of the meteor NASA claims entered the Earth's atmosphere at about 8:08 p.m. on January 16th. It was not a meteor that I'm sorry, I was looking at this, and I'm sorry for that really distasteful picture. It almost makes me want to click on it, but I'm not going to. Okay, it was not a meteor that caused the ground-based explosion captured in the Kurt Norris images, because you can clearly see the meteor fizzle out with only a small airburst. So this is the one that NASA's claiming is the meteor. But it's gone before it hits. That's not the same. And the other one had kind of an orangey light when it hit the ground. So, I don't know. But the Air Force has been placed on high alert. The explosion caused a 2-point magnitude tremor in the vicinity of St. Clair Shores. Similar events have been reported during the so-called California wildfires. Yeah, I'm sure you're all aware of that. And I do believe that that was directed weaponry. I really do. I don't think that there's any... If you look at the evidence, I don't think that there's any question about that. I don't believe that they were naturally caused. I don't. Tyler from the Secure Team 10 YouTube channel does a great job explaining what occurred Tuesday night. Well, sorry.
Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. So the first story I want to talk about today was something strange that's been coming to me from a couple different sources regarding what was called in the news a meteor that was seen burning up through the atmosphere over Michigan last night. Now the footage that you're seeing here is of that alleged object. It's been featured in the mainstream news, Washington Post, so it did indeed occur. Something was seen blasting through the sky. Again, there was a massive flash of light, a loud boom. We've been talking about this a lot lately. A lot of mysterious booms and sounds and flashes of light happening around the world. Many of them not accompanied by meteorites, but it would seem here that something's burning up. And so there's a few strange things that have come to me regarding this incident. Okay, first, obviously, there was a rumble over the southeastern area of Michigan last night on Tuesday. A, quote, rumble that shook the earth, a bright burst of light illuminating the sky, and obviously afterwards locals left wondering what the heck had happened. Mr. Danny McEwen Jr. told the Detroit News, quote, I went to turn and I noticed a ball of flame coming at an angle. It just blew up in a bunch of sparks. I didn't even know what to think. It was kind of odd how orange the sky was behind me and this blaze of flame out of nowhere. Now, the United States Geological Survey reported that there was an equivalent of a magnitude 2.0 earthquake, along with NASA officials who later came out with a simple explanation of it being a meteoroid entering the Earth's atmosphere at about 8:08 p.m. And what we're seeing here, at least in it, does look like a meteor, or an object, okay? We've had space junk, and we've had other objects entering the atmosphere that look similar to what a meteor looks like. So I guess we'll just have to take NASA's word for it. But what was more strange to me were the emails that I started receiving for people around Michigan, one in particular, who sent me a couple of different photographs, who said at the same time that this happened, this was witnessed in the skies over Taylor, Michigan last night. So it occurred right at the exact time that this supposed meteor hit, but there's something very different here than what we're seeing in that video. Here, we are seeing one of these elongated vertical red beams of light reaching up from the ground up into the clouds. Now, when I first saw this, I said, I've seen these before, and sure enough, there are many other news stories from around the world where people have witnessed these strange, many times it'll just be one single vertical beam of light, almost like a laser, coming up or coming down from the heavens. Now, here is another one of the photographs that were sent to me, as well as posted to a file sharing, an image file sharing website called Imgur, or IMGUR, and this looks almost like a giant fireball appearing over the horizon here with, again, this beam of light. Now, I don't know if this is the same meteor. At first, I thought maybe this was the sun. But again, these all look to be taken around the same time, and it looks like, nighttime. And then the third photograph here it looks to be in some sort of residential neighborhood. We have people standing outside on a phone, looking down the street at something that's glowing down at the end of the street here. It almost looks like fire. It looks similar to what is being shown in this photograph here. And so when I saw that, I said, obviously there's something going on here. People are out on the phone watching it. And then I started hearing reports about how this so-called meteor that came out of the sky had actually landed in a residential area and actually set a truck on fire. Someone's truck or garage or something like that. And then so I did some further research and saw that there had been an article posted about it claiming that a meteor did not hit a garage in Taylor and catch it on fire. So apparently a fire had destroyed a pickup truck inside of a garage in the Metro Detroit community, where crews were called to the fire at about 8:24 p.m. So right around the same time of this so-called meteor coming down. And I'm guessing these are the pics of that fire that we're looking at here, along with this strange beam of light going up to the sky. But they felt the need to post a news story about it and how this had nothing to do with that. So I've got sources saying that this did have something to do with the object, and that it was followed by this mystery of vertical light reaching up to the sky. So basically, it appears that we have two different stories as to what happened here. First, we have what NASA, and I know you can't trust them as far as you can throw them most of the time, what they're saying is a meteor, okay? We have this footage here of obviously something streaking through the sky, but then we have these other photographs of a strange beam of light, vertical red beam of light, along with this fire that occurred. So my question is, what is this beam of light? What caused this fire? Does it have something to do with this meteor, alleged meteor? Was it a meteor at all? Or is this two separate things, the red beam of light and the meteor, that happened right around the same exact time? And so that's what I wanted to post today about. Something strange, it seems, happened over Michigan. I don't know what. I'm still trying to dig for details. But if any of you guys out there have seen something similar, don't hesitate to shoot me an email. As I said, we've seen these strange beams of light all over the world before. Sometimes they have something to do with ice crystals in the atmosphere, but usually then you'll see multiple beams of light when that happens. But a lot of the times it's just one, and it's really mysterious to look at. So anyone over Michigan, if you have any more info about what happened last night, post it down below or send me an email and let me know what you guys think. Now,
so there you have it. But I don't know. Could they have been trying to, did they know that this meteor was coming? Were they trying to disintegrate it? Or I don't know. But to me, it looks like there's two separate things happening, but I don't know. But those second pictures definitely don't look like a meteor to me. Now, I don't know. But if any of you have any information or anything to add, please put it in the comments below. Now, let's go back out and see what else we have here. There's so much that this is interesting on Trump's health. More nonsense. Director James Gunn offers $100,000 for Trump's weight on accurate scale. So obviously he's saying that whatever scale weighed Trump was not accurate. And I've seen all these memes of, they'll have some guy that's the same weight and the same height as Trump, and but the thing is, every single one of those guys are like completely muscle bound, and everybody knows that muscle weighs more than fat. So I used to work out like with weights before. I mean, I have a spinal injury now, but I used to work out with weights a lot, and I actually weighed, I'm smaller now by several sizes, but I weighed more then. Okay, how does that, anyway, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. It's like you are much, much heavier when you're muscle bound. And I know that. I know that from being, there's no way that I could have at that time got down to the weight that I am now, because I had so many muscles that even if I was teeny tiny, my muscles that weighed a lot. So comparing Trump to like some muscle bound guy doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But anyway, this director, James Dunn, has offered to donate $100,000 to President Donald Trump's preferred charity if he agrees to step on an accurate scale following the release of his first successful medical checkup. I think that this is really distasteful, and I'm wondering, like, if that was Obama or or Mishel, or Michael, would they be saying the same thing? Like, would they be able to get away with, constantly talking about Obama's health and his weight? Or no, they wouldn't. Anyway, I will give $100,000 to Trump's favorite charity if he'll step on an accurate scale with an impartial medical professional. So he's obviously saying that this doctor is not impartial. Okayed by both of us. For real. But the thing is, that doctor was the doctor for the last two presidents. So why would he be impartial? I don't get that. In a later tweet, Gunn then compared a photo of MLB star Albert Pujols to one of Trump playing golf, suggesting that if both men are the same height and weight, then the health of President Trump's mental state is questionable. Trump's medical exam said he is 6'3" and 239 pounds. Albert Pujols is 6'3" and 240 pounds. If the dementia tests are equally accurate, we are doomed. Now, that's offensive, because this guy's an athlete, and he's muscular. Now, Trump, he's got a little bit of a gut there, and most men of that age do. So what? It's beyond ridiculous. Gunn's pledge followed the public release of details of Trump's medical examination last week, in which White House doctor, Navy Rear Admiral Dr. Ronnie Jackson announced that the president is in excellent physical and mental health. So this person obviously doesn't believe that, and okay. Personally, if I were Trump, I would do it, and I'd make him look like an idiot, because I can't see a doctor lying about that. I don't know. Maybe, but I don't know. So that's something else that was, let's get her off of there. All right. Now, let's go out and look at something else concerning this big hoopla about Trump's health. Morning Joe's Mika Brzezinski says Trump's health is actually truly frightening. Okay. White House physician gave president a clean bill of mental health, but MSNBC co-host feels worse and more worried for U.S. Interesting. He gets a clean bill of health, but she feels worse and more worried about it. Okay. It sounds to me like they'd all be jumping for joy if he did have dementia or was suffering from something major. MSNBC, sorry, I need to get an ad blocker. MSNBC Morning Joe co-host Mika Brzezinski bemoaned Wednesday the White House physician's insistence that President Donald Trump suffers from no cognitive issues and fretted that it makes me feel worse and more worried for the country. Brzezinski and fellow co-host George Scarborough have often speculated about Trump's mental health and his fitness to serve as president since his inauguration, but Dr. Ronnie Jackson gave a glowing assessment of Trump's health at Tuesday's hour-long press briefing and dismissed repeated questions about cognitive concerns. Although Jackson solidly rejected the idea that Trump suffers from the early stages of dementia, Brzezinski remained unconvinced about the chief executive's health. Okay. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Pamela Bruner.
Stop. Okay. I'm sure it makes me feel better that this doctor says that he has no cognitive issues. It makes me feel worse and more worried for the country, Brzezinski said, because Trump is suffering from no known mental illnesses, Brzezinski said, that any controversial thing he has done or said over the last few years can't be attributed to a cognitive dysfunction. Instead, the controversies occur because the president is just a bad guy, said the Morning Joe co-host. This is all not due to some sort of mental deficiency, Brzezinski said. This is who he is. Fantastic. Although Brzezinski conceded that she must take the doctor at his word in terms of testing and stuff, she said that a clean bill of mental health poses an even greater threat to the nation. Okay. That is actually truly frightening. It leaves the options as to what's going on in a very bad category. Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Dr. Ronnie Jackson said.
So, anyway, Scarborough claimed earlier in January that members of the media were not allowed to speak about Trump's mental fitness for office until Michael Wolff's new book, Fire and Fury Inside the Trump's White House, was published in January. But speculating about Trump's cognitive health wasn't a new feat for the Morning Joe panel. Scarborough and Brzezinski speculated in December that Trump's slurred words while announcing his decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital raised new concerns about his mental health. In November, Scarborough warned that people close to Trump during the campaign told him repeatedly that the president was suffering from the early stages of dementia and is completely detached from reality. Okay. Scarborough said in June that Trump is not a sane, rational human being, and worried in May about Trump's confused mental state. Brzezinski said at the time that one could argue that this president is completely incompetent, maybe even has some issues medically. On Wednesday, Scarborough followed up by claiming that Jackson's clean bill of health for Trump shocked and surprised a lot of people who have worked around him for the past several years, who have been saying that he is not mentally healthy. Sure. I don't believe that, not one little bit. And, I mean, did you see Hillary's health? I mean, she was fainting and stumbling, and that time that she coughed up something black into a glass of water, it was absolutely, honestly, I think I nearly threw up. I might have thrown up a bit in my mouth. It was just so disgusting. And, you know, her cognitive, there's been all sorts of things showing that Hillary is not fit medically, but nobody ever says anything about that. Anyway, so let's look at this really quickly. Here we go. Pope Francis honors Dutch abortion activist with Pontifical Medal of Knighthood. Now, I'm not going to go out and read this, but I wanted you to be aware of it. Honors Dutch abortion activist with Pontifical Medal of Knighthood. Can you say conflict of interest here? I mean, I'm just saying. Wow. All right. Let's go see what else. I'm not going to read this either, but Iranian protesters say, "Thank you, President Trump, for human rights stance." Yeah, you won't see that in the news, so of course not. Now, let's go out and look at this, because there's a lot happening today, particularly this afternoon, about the whole Fusion GPS stuff and all that in the dossier. And Fusion GPS founder admits he didn't believe Trump was suitable to be president while compiling hoax dossier. Well, is that so? Tel Aviv. In testimony released publicly last week, Glenn R. Simpson, the co-founder of the controversial opposition research firm Fusion GPS, conceded that he opposed Donald Trump's presidential candidacy and that his negative opinions of the politician may have entered into his thinking. D'you think? May have entered into his thinking. Oh, these people kill me. Fusion GPS compiled the infamous, largely discredited 35-page dossier accusing Trump and his presidential campaign of ties with Russia. In August 22nd testimony released last week and reviewed in full by Breitbart News, Simpson made the following admission. "I think it's safe to say that, at some point, probably early in 2016, I'd reached a conclusion about Donald Trump as a businessman and his character, and I was opposed to Donald Trump. I'm not going to pretend that wouldn't have entered into my thinking." Well, at least he's honest. Again, I was a journalist my whole life. So were you. Trained not to take sides and practice in not taking sides. So most of what I do as a research person is we try to avoid getting into situations where one's ideology or political views would cloud your work because it's a known hazard. But I reached an opinion about Donald Trump and his suitability to be president of the United States, and I was concerned about whether he was the best person for the job. Yeah, well, really that's not his concern. His, because, it's a voting country and the country voted him in. So deal with it. I don't know. Well, there's more stuff. There's just more stuff about this. So I'm going to go out and find that. This is not new to us. We know this, but it's interesting that a lot of this is coming out in the news right now. And House Intelligence Committee votes to reveal the big ugly. Now, sorry. This is interesting. Just 1 second. I've got to have a drink of water. Sorry, that was a loud gulp. Not pleasant to listen to, I'm sure. Okay. House Intelligence Committee votes to reveal the big ugly. The House Intelligence Committee voted today, that's today, January 18th, 2018, to allow all congressional members to view a summary report of classified documents behind the Clinton dossier. This is good news. This is awesome news. It's some of the best news we could possibly get. As Byron York writes in the Washington Examiner, at the committee's meeting Thursday morning, Representative Peter King offered a motion to allow all House members to review a brief report prepared by the Republican majority summarizing the panel's investigation into what GOP members call FISA abuse. And it most definitely is. All the Republicans voted to allow the sunlight. Adam Schiff and all the Democrats on the committee voted to block the sunlight. Well, yeah, that kind of goes without saying, don't you think? There will be no copies of the report handed out to House members. Instead, a copy will be made available for them to read in a secure room in the Capitol. They won't be able to take the report out of the room, but they will know the answers to the questions, which raises another question. When will the public know? Obviously, the more House members know about the dossier investigation, the more likely its classified results are to leak. That might happen at any time. But Republicans can pursue another strategy as well. The House itself can declassify documents under certain conditions. If enough members support declassifying the House Intel report, then the House as a body could move to declassify the information in it, and then the public would know. And that's where Representative Ron DeSantis, January 9th, 2018 letter to Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, comes in. I'm not going to read this letter. Oh, for heaven's sakes. There we go. Yeah, so, yeah. Oh, I was just reading this comment here. Sean Hannity just covered this with Sarah Carter. One congressman, when he was reading the report, turned to his colleague and said, "This is worse than Watergate." Sean will have more this evening on his show. We already know it's worse than Watergate. Congress, show us the goods. I agree. So, looks like the proverbial caca is about to hit the fan. Seriously. I think there's going to be a lot of angry people when that's revealed. I really do. I don't know how there couldn't be. So, and let's just take a look at this, and this is going to be probably the last thing we look at. Congressman Matt Gaetz issues statements demanding Intelligence Committee release classified memo on DOJ and FBI to public after viewing document. So, that's good. Congressman Matt Gaetz today released the following statement after reviewing information from the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, including a memo held in the Congressional Sensitive Compartmentalized Information Facility that contained previously undisclosed information involving the Federal Bureau of Intelligence, the FBI, and Department of Justice. Now, remember this, SCIF. If you remember, some of the very first posts by Q were mentioning that, and that's what he was getting at. He kept asking questions, and as we would decode, it became obvious that he was talking about this Congressional Sensitive Compartmented Information Facility, and was telling us that the problem was this was being held there in a secure facility, and very few people had the clearance to be able to read it. So that's what was saving their bacon. But their bacon's not being saved anymore. So this is good news. The House must immediately make public the memo prepared by the Intelligence Committee regarding the FBI and the Department of Justice. The facts contained in this memo are jaw-dropping and demand full transparency. There is no higher priority than the release of this information to preserve our democracy. So, yeah. I won't get into that too deeply and read all that, but just so that you know, there's major things happening over the last few days. And, we were told by Q, I assume that it was Q, that this would be a busy news week. And it has been so far. We've had lots of things happening, and then today, I don't know, something happened with Delta airplane. It had to land. I'm not sure. I haven't found out exactly what happened with that or whether it was anything to be concerned about. There seemed to be other things on the go today as well. But, yeah. Anyway, I do want to do one more thing here because it made me very angry. Made me very angry. And that's this guy. These are the people that the Democrats are fighting to keep in this country. Right here.
Let's get you caught up with some of your headlines right now. An illegal immigrant charged with killing 2 cops seen smiling and showing no remorse in court. He even admits he wished he killed more.
You regret that, dog. It's in the regret is a skill too. I wish I killed more of them.
Luis Bracamontes has been deported to Mexico twice before. He is accused of killing a sheriff's deputy and detective in California in 2014.
Yeah, so the only thing that he's sorry about is that he didn't kill more. And then there was the other immigrant that stabbed somebody in the neck, and he had been deported 7 times. And I saw a meme, actually, that showed that 1/4 of all federal prisoners are illegal aliens. And that floored me, because I would not have guessed that in a million years. I really wouldn't have. So, anyway.
Let's get you caught up with
and these, I'm not anti-immigrant. I am an immigrant. I came to the United States legally. I went through all the legal channels. I paid a lot of money to do so. It's expensive. It's very expensive. And I had to go through all sorts of hoops. And I did it legally. So I think that if somebody wants to come to the country legally, then great. More power to them. Welcome. But not illegally. Anyway. So, I think that is... There's lots more stuff here, but this is... Okay, I do want to mention this. Last night, I'd never seen this person before, but I went to his Twitter, and because somebody had mentioned him, and he showed that there were 120 military aircraft over the U.S., and that was right now. Now, that was January the 17th, and gosh, this was quite late at night that I was looking at this. And so there was 120 military aircraft, and somebody had asked him, well, what's normal? Like, how many? Because I wouldn't know how many is normal for there to be in the air. I wouldn't know if that was a low amount or a high amount or what. But apparently it's less than 10. And he said that a lot of those, there were more actual aircraft than that in the air, military, but they were cloaked. I don't understand all that, but I don't have any sort of military background or training or anything, so I don't know. But it's interesting because it looked like they were all along the borders, but not the border to Canada. And I thought, well, that's interesting. They're all along the borders, but not Canada. But then Canada is no threat to the United States. I mean, we've always been friendly with one another. Well, there actually was a war between Canada and the U.S., and Canada won. Look it up. I'm not joking. Anyway, it was a long time ago. And we're over it. But, so, anyway, yeah. There was none over Canada, but it looked like they were protecting the border. So what is going on? And I'm just going to, hopefully this is the right. Yeah. See where they're all congregated? They're all mostly on the west coast, the east coast, and a little along the border of Mexico, but I don't think they're thinking Mexico's much of a threat either. But isn't that interesting? I mean, I don't know what it means. Maybe some of you in the military do. There seems to be a lot of activity. I live near a military base, and there seems to be a lot of activity here. I don't know. But there was also, and hopefully I've got it here. Oh, darn, I don't. It was a picture of an aircraft over Florida, and it was just, I don't know, it was extremely strange activity. I'll see if I can find it on my computer and bring it up in a later video, but just interesting because there's a lot of people saying that there's a lot of military aircraft right now and that there's a lot of helicopter activity. These are like close to the ground. I don't know. Don't know what it means, if it means anything, but it seems that there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So, oh, and here's another one. As HIT is about to hit the fan, ex-Secret Service agent warns devastating FISA memo set to expose Obama. So it's the same one, and I think that we all know that it's not going to be good news for certain people that we've been following. So anyway, I'll leave it there because I've been talking your hind legs off, and I'll leave it there for now, and just leave anything in the comments that you want to say or anything strange that you've noticed that's happening. I do read the comments and other people read them as well. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Talk to you later.